Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today is the first video of April. Sadly, I don't have a April Fool's joke planned out, and honestly, I don't really want to because my humor is very not easy to understand, in my opinion, and so I didn't really want to make something that I would find funny and then no one else would find funny. Also, I feel like April Fool's is a really weird kind of holiday, like a very weird kind of tradition thing. Because everyone makes like jokes and most of them are garbage, but then there's like a few people that are good, and because of those few people, everyone else thinks that, you know, this year's gonna be their year of making a funny April Fool's joke, and usually they'll all just suck. But yeah, that's my thoughts on April Fool's. Today we're gonna be doing our TBR video. So today we're gonna be looking at everything that I plan to read this month. It's gonna look like a lot, but most of it is volume 1s of a series. So even though it might look like a lot, it should be relatively easy to accomplish because most volume 1s are not very difficult to read. Usually there really isn't too much going on in them except for setting up the story. But let's get into it. So I have this kind of split up into a few different kind of lists here. First, the two things that I want to carry over from last month, which would be The Shadow Rising, again, because I finally want to read it, but I always forget to start. And then when I do remember to start, I'm like, no, it's too big. I don't want to read it right now. And I get like this, I can fall into this like repeating cycle, this loop of like, I need to read it, but it's too big, but I don't want to read it, but I need to read it kind of thing. And it just keeps going and going and going. And I'm going to try to push through it, at least get through 100 pages of this book this month. And if I do that, I should have enough momentum to continue reading it. So hopefully we can do that. But honestly, who the fuck knows, man? I have very low self-control when it comes to books. If I don't feel like doing something at some point, I'm just not gonna read that. And I'm very much like read what you feel like reading kind of person, because everything else in my life is very structured. I study engineering and stuff like that, so everything has to be done a certain way. And when I have the ability to just do something however I feel like doing it, I definitely want to do that. Also, I am just generally a very like structured person. I put everything in lists and I figure out when I need to do things and stuff like that. And so reading is the hobby that I try to kind of minimize that as much as I can. Of course, that's not necessarily true because, as you guys can see, I have a TBR video. But I try to not hold myself too much to it. So Shadow Rising is the first book that I want to read. Hopefully, I'll manage to read at least 100 pages of it. I think that's a better way to do this, because if I force myself to read the whole book, I'm not going to be able to start it. But if I kind of just give myself a certain goal within the book, I should be able to accomplish that. So there you go. First 100 pages of Shadow Rising is the first thing that I want to read. Then I want to finish up Tanya, Volume 2. Now, the thing with Tanya is that I'm very interested in the story, but the way the story is told is very dry. And so I have to be in the right mindset, or I have to be willing to push myself through this very dry reading in order to kind of be able to absorb the story. So sometimes it works, and sometimes I'm very invested and I read like 70 pages of the book. And sometimes I'm just like, no, 20 pages was enough. I'm going to finish. I'm going to move on to something else. So we'll see how this goes. This is a 400-page book. I'm 40 pages in, so I'm a tenth of the way there. Hopefully, I'll manage to finish it by the rest of the by the end of the month. So yeah, those are the two carryover titles from last month. As you guys can see, I dropped Perry Rodin and Barrage, which were the two books that I didn't get to last month, because I'm moving those to May, so I can have like all of the sci-fi-esque type things all in the same month. But I probably will try to finish Perry Rodin beforehand. Like, I might read it this month, but very much so gonna read it in May if I don't. So yeah, now we have a bunch of other titles. Like I said, most of these are volume 1s, except for this first one, Vinlon Saga Volume 5, or Omnibus 5. I don't know, it's the same thing. At the end of the day, it's one book, and it's the 5th book, so it's Volume 5. And definitely want to continue with this story. I probably won't make a review for it right now, because I had originally started doing like volume reviews, but I don't like doing volume reviews anymore. I think arc reviews are much better, but I don't want to do an arc review of Vinland Saga right now and cover the prologue arc and then wait like 1,000 years for the second arc, the farmland arc, because the way and the rate at which I collect Vinland Saga is so slow. I don't want to have a giant gap in the reviews of the arcs like that. So I'll probably wait it out until I have quite a bit more of it, so I can have like 2 reviews coming out here relatively quickly. So yeah, Vinland Saga 5, very much anticipated read here. I'm really excited about this, and hopefully I can buy the next one here soon. So there is that. Then I want to start with Flowers of Evil. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a super fast read based on everything that people have told me about Oshimi. But if it's not, it's going to be kind of tough because it's a very big book. But hopefully I get through this quickly, and hopefully I enjoy it so I can buy the rest of the series and finally get into these more like adult mangaka, these kind of more serious mangaka that have more like hardcore stories, I guess. Because, you know, Oshimi, Urasawa, and Asano are like the 3 guys that everyone like thinks of like the big, you know, adult mangaka. And I haven't really read any of them except for Urasawa's Monster. So I definitely want to try and get into more of these guys and try to learn more about their writing. So there you go. Flowers of Evil, Volume 1. Then I want to check out Alice in Borderlands. I bought this last month. And you'll notice that most of the stuff I bought last month is part of the TBR this month, because that's kind of how I want to have it. It's going to be slightly redundant in terms of videos, but I do want to try my best to maintain this like read as you buy kind of mentality, because I think that it's going to help me a lot more than stockpiling manga for years and then just reading it very slowly. So yeah, Alice in Borderlands Volume 1. I don't know what this is about, honestly. I just bought it because it was hype, and a lot of people were saying it was good, and I actually really like how it looks. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's enjoyable. I can't remember who it was. There was someone on YouTube that made a video, a video essay about Alice in Borderlands, and this kind of idea that it kind of looks at what it means to like have a good life, kind of, or something like that. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'll definitely check out Alice in Borderland and see if I like it. If I don't, it's no big deal. I can just resell it, and I'm sure someone will want to buy it. Then, the one I'm probably most excited about here this month is Bride's Story Volume 1. I'm very excited about this. Bride's Story is a very interesting looking story. I love the artwork, and I have a kind of very interesting kind of interest, I guess, in these kind of Turkic people, these kind of stories of the Near East, far Middle East. I don't know what the whatever the region between the Middle East and Asia is before it actually becomes Southeast Asia. That kind of region of the world. Now, I'm very interested in. I had a very big connection with people from Turkey. When I was young, I went to a school that had a lot of Turkish people in it, and I went to Turkey a few times, and I also have a very interesting relationship with like a very specific aspect of Mongolian history, which is Genghis Khan. I read this book about him when I was in high school, and it was like so amazing that there's so much stuff that this guy did, that yes, he was like a pillager and this horrible like Viking-esque kind of person, but also so much of the stuff that he did helped like that region of the world so much, because he introduced a lot of different things that are very kind of modern feeling, but were around when he was around. And it's very interesting. So hopefully some of that interest and that kind of connections go over into this, and I can enjoy it a lot. So there you go, Bride's Story Volume 1. That story is basically about this woman that marries this young boy in their, you know, culture, and stuff happens after that. I'm not really sure exactly what it's about, but it is very interesting. And the last kind of 2-in-1 omnibus thing that I want to read is Die Welgelder, which is a story by the guy that wrote Blade of the Immortal, if I remember correctly. It's about this kind of like girl with gun situation, but also like this kind of intrigue thriller type story. I've read quite a bit of it. I just haven't finished the first omnibus that I own, and so I wanted to just go ahead and finish it here soon. And I don't remember exactly how to describe it or what the story is about exactly, but it's very interesting, and it looks really cool. So hopefully I'll get to read that. So that's it for the kind of omnibus type books. Now let's look at a bunch of actual volume 1s. So first is Quintessential Quintuplets. I bought this at Walmart a few weeks ago, and I'm really interested in the story. It's been one that I've been wanting to check out for a while. I almost bought the box set at one point, but I just never got around to it. And then by the time I wanted to, it was already like expensive, so there was no point. I'm just gonna buy these individually as I see them wherever it is that I go manga shopping, right? So that's it for Quintessential Quintuplets. Then I want to read Atelier, whatever it's called. I love the art style for this. I don't necessarily know if the story's going to be all that good, but the art style looks beautiful for sure. I'm really excited about checking this story out. And maybe I'll do a recommendations video, like, hey, if you like good art, these are the series that you should check out. I mean, I have quite a few of them. You know, there's Manga to the Library, there's Witch Hat Atelier, there's Bride's Story, Drifting Dragons. You know, these kind of like more like historical fantasy kind of setting, kind of stories, seem to have this more like very fancy, beautiful, flowing artwork that isn't really like the standard battle shonen badass kind of artwork, but they look really, really good. So yeah, then I want to read Gunbird Sisters. I bought this because I was very excited about this story. It's this kind of like Yuri vampire fighting series. It's very, very weird, but it's also very, very fun. And it's a very cultured series, if you guys want to call it that. And I'm pretty excited about it. So there you go. That's Gunbird Sisters. Then a bunch of digital stuff that I want to read. I have volumes 1 through 3 of Snow White Notes. I don't know what it's about. I bought it because it was pretty cheap and I saw that it was well liked. So I want to read the first volume, see if I like it. And if not, I mean, I'll probably just read the next 2 as well, just because. But I want to check out the first one. I don't know what it's about at all. I think it's a drama series, and that's the best. That's the best I can give you for that. Then I want to check out Izakaya Nobu Volume 1. I also bought this digitally. I know this is about a restaurant of some sort. I like foodie manga, so that's going to be fun. Hopefully I enjoy that. Then I want to check out a bunch of Shonen Jump titles, or well, Shonen app titles, Shonen Jump app titles. Now, I want to check out Golden Kamuy 1. Last month, I checked out Hell's Paradise. This month, I want to check out Golden Kamuy. And hopefully, I enjoy it. I definitely want to buy it physically at some point, but there's like 30 volumes of that series, so it's not going to be that easy to collect. Then I want to check out Spy Family. I've already checked this out a long time ago, but now that I have the Shonen Jump subscription, I definitely want to read all of it. And you know, they sell it at my local Walmart and Target very often, so I could definitely get it relatively cheap if I decided to buy it physically, but I don't know if I want to or not, because, you know, I told myself I wasn't going to buy Shonen Jump titles physically, and then I completely lied because I have Mashle and Kaiju number 8. Of course, Kaiju number 8 is technically not a Shonen Jump title, it's a Jump Plus title, but, well, you know, whatever, it's the same kind of thing. And I completely lie about that type of stuff, and then I just buy a bunch of Shonen Jump titles. But I definitely want to check it out. And the same thing with Sakamoto Days. A lot of people have been hyping this story up for sure. And of course, it just released this month, so, or like the end of last month. I can't remember exactly. But the point is that Sakamoto Days looks like a lot of fun. I actually contemplated buying the Spanish edition of this because the pre-order bonus for the Spanish edition from Spain was really, really cool. They had a, what's it called, like, one of those things that you put on so that you don't get like oil splatter on your clothes when you're cooking. And they had a bunch of other crazy stuff in the pre-order bonus, and I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. But importing it from Spain would probably cost way too much, and by the time it got to me, it would be very beat up. So I didn't really decide to do that. But if I like this online, I'll probably buy the first volume since it's just coming out right now. It's easier to collect things as they're releasing than when there's a big backlog of them, right? So there you go. And then the last thing I want to check out from these volume 1 things is Kajiki Chef, which is a story that's available on the Manga Plus app, and I think it's free. So I definitely want to check out that first volume of it. I don't know exactly if it's divided by volumes on Manga Plus, but there's at least more than 10 chapters of it. So I definitely want to check it out. I saw a video about it. I think it was my buddy Aesthetics who made a video about it. But it looks really interesting. It's a food manga, but also kind of a battle shonen. And that's really exciting. And so I definitely want to check that out. I don't know too much about it, but I definitely want to give it a read. Then let's look at light novels. I really only have one light novel to read this month besides Saga of Sonya the Evil, which would be Miss Trouble Tensei. This is a digital title that I own, and I want to check it out. You know, there's a lot of people that talk about it, and it is like the one that inspired most of these modern isekai stories. So I want to check it out for sure. It has a lot of like it's like a seminal text basically. It has cultural value for the genre that I like the most, so I definitely want to check it out, and hopefully it's enjoyable. Then I have a manga that I want to read, which is God of High School. This is the second part of God of High School. It's chapter 43 up to 110, 120. I can't remember what it's called, but it's divided into chapters. So chapter 1 was like the fight up to the end of the first round of the tournament in like Seoul or whatever they were stationed. And then part 2 is like the next part of that, and there's like 8 or 10 parts of it so far. So I definitely want to check out this second section of God of High School. It seems very interesting, and I really like the first one quite a bit. So yeah, and that's it. Technically, I have alternative titles in case I decide that I don't want to read something on this list to switch it out for something else. But most of these haven't released yet because they're releases that are coming out this month that I want to catch up with. But let me just run through them really quick. Solo Leveling Volume 4, the light novel. Solo Leveling Volume 4, the comic. Kaiju number 8, number 2, Furi-san number 3, and Record of Ragnarok number 2. So I can't really make videos on any of those because they're like volumes 3, 4s, and so on. So it doesn't really matter. I probably will read them anyways, but I won't really make videos on them at all. So these alternative titles are there just to kind of make sure that I have it on a list, and it doesn't feel like I'm cheating and doing things outside of the TBR. So yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. What are you guys going to be reading this month? Let me know down in the comments. Anything super interesting that you're going to be reading this month, or that you're super excited about. You know, I'm trying to clear out my backlog of stuff here, and I think I'm doing okay about that. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.